Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we'll be checking out a rather interesting mod for the Dwarfs, Elon's Greybeard's Prospectors. This is another mod with a lot of elements of choice. You can either form your own Karaz and have it serve the High King, or eventually strike out on your own and rebel against the Karaz Ankor. Yes, this isn't really a lore-friendly mod in that respect, however, it is very fun and it presents a lot of new stuff, such as a complete new faction overhaul, new units, new playstyles, and even a completely new technology tree which serves as the main basis of your elements of choice. The mod itself is rather interesting, as you're playing as a dwarf faction which is so far away from other fellow Dawi. There is no support from the other holds, which means that you are left to fend for yourself. But let's not waste any more time and jump right in. As always, for the purpose of this mod review, I will begin a new campaign in easy mode and easy battles. For those not aware of the Greybeard Prospectors, considering that they die early on, they're situated in the area of the Southlands, right next to Tic-Tac-Toe, Réponse de Lyonesse and Arkan the Black. You've got a bunch of possible enemies, and you've got to take them out quickly before they grow too strong. Our custom legendary lord for this campaign is Aldor Greybeard, decent stats all around, and in truth very potent at missile damage. He, like the custom generic lords for the Greybeard Prospectors, have their own unique skill trees, which focus around their own units, most of which is tempered around buffs and so on, but something to note is that also an element of choice is presented here, in terms of your two upper skill trees. One is based around the standard dwarfen way of living, where you would be able to then get reputation with the Karaz, and get some bonuses surrounding them. However, there is another tree, and we will look at these in more detail much later, but this, paired with your research, can also make you strike out and become an independent nation. Yes, your own nation of Dawi. But moving on, the dwarfs of the Greybeard Prospectors have been given their own unique building trees. This makes sense, as obviously they have their own standard armies, they should have their own buildings too. More or less, the buildings themselves are very similar to the standard dwarves, so it should be easy enough to find your way through it and grasp what you need. You will of course notice that your roster is slightly smaller than the average dwarf. But don't worry, there are multiple mechanics in play in the future which allow you to get more units. The research tree in itself is perhaps one of the most impressive things about this mod. There are a bunch of different options here, where if you pick one technology, you'll lock something else. Also, there are certain trees, like for example the ones at the bottom, which are geared for getting some unique units and buffs normally not available to the dwarfs. For example, learning from the Empire, the random pirates that litter the seas, and even also getting your hands on Skaven technology in an effort to better understand it. However, should you start learning from these trees, that will lock you out from the main dwarf tree, and also you will start to lose reputation with the High King and the other Karaz. There is so much element of choice here, where you will be able to have multiple playthroughs using this mod and still feel like you're doing something different each time. I also forgot to mention a while back that this mod also includes a unique set of Regiments of Renown. They're all geared to look and feel like part of your Greybeard Prospectors army. But now we're going to go back to the element of choice here, as that features heavily through this mod. As stated before, you can build yourself up to either join the standard Karaz or branch out in an effort to form your own unique kingdom. Now, you have to take into account that this has its positives and negatives, and you should think about this and how your positioning is in the campaign before you make a decision. I'm scrolling over a bunch of the different technologies here, so you can pause wherever you wish if you want to look at them in greater detail, but the main thing that you should notice is that certain trees do lock each other, as stated before, but here is where it's a bit more punishing. Do you want to strike out and get more unique stuff, but also risk the dwarfs attacking you should they have dealt with the greenskins, which is very much a possibility. In most cases, the dwarfs will become quite a superpower, and last thing you want is a bunch of them coming down to attack you. Or do you want to be more uniform and join the Karaz Ankor? This obviously has its benefits, as you will be able to get some reinforcements, meaning some standard units from the dwarf armies to your armies. However, the problem here is that you lose a lot of units unit diversity. When you strike out on your own, you will obviously be able to get some new unique units. You can even get some reformed Skaven tech. Again, not very lore friendly, but still rather interesting. It is this element of choice which made me interested in this mod in the first place. It also works around with how your general faction will play. What you're seeing on screen right now are various different faction bonuses that you can get through your research tree. These technologies themselves are focused around the dwarven gods, and the rather interesting thing about this is that they are so drastic that it would completely change your playstyle. Once again, you have to think about it before you decide to settle in. Of course, you can have multiple saves running and then you could be able to experiment a little bit. I did say that at the beginning of your campaign, your roster would be rather limited. However, as you can see now, as you progress through your campaign and unlock new technologies to unlock new units, your roster gets rather full. The generic unit icons will always be your units. However, those with the green icons will only be unlocked through technology in the most lower part of your technology tree. These are the ones that go against the Karaz Ankor. And the units with the red icon will only be available to you in the form of reinforcements should you join up with the Karaz Ankor. These are the generic dwarf units that everyone knows, so you've got your choice here. Do you want to experiment with new forms of warfare, or do you want to go with something safe that you already know? As before, there are so many units that I'm not going to show all of their stats. Instead, we're going to look at the units visually, and they do look quite good. Sure, there's only so much you can do with actual dwarf models as well. Sure, yeah, they're kind of small and there's not a lot of space to work around them, but they do look visually distinct to the standard dwarves. Yes, the majority of them are indeed reskins, but they're done fairly well. But I want to take the time now to just give my general thoughts of this mod. The mod itself is fairly enjoyable in all honesty. I'm a big fan of adding in the element of choice to these types of mods. It's something which is rather lacking in the Total War series in all honesty, and I don't mean in the style of general mechanics, but just bigger elements of choice would be quite cool. Sure, the mod itself doesn't have that much in terms of unique mechanics, but it's amazing what you could do with just the research tree and just a few skills here and there. I do recommend this mod for fans of the Dwarfs, or those in general who just want something different with an element of choice. As always, the mod will be found in the description below, and for you SFO fans out there, yes, I can confirm there is an SFO submod. This is a generally shorter video than usual. Unfortunately, I'm kinda busy IRL with some work matters, but thankfully this mod speaks for itself. I do highly recommend it. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.